Next. Oh yeah, so then we had a Thor trailer. We finally find, which is crazy. This is not, they broke like a Marvel record. This is the longest or the shortest amount of time between trailer and movie for a Marvel movie, because the movie's dropping in July and we barely got a trailer for Thor. But it was just a little teaser, only a minute long. But man, was there some juicy things in that trailer. Ooh. So we didn't get gore. We didn't get a scene of gore, which was kind of mad. Kind of hoping we did, but I'm pretty sure we're dropping the trailer. Just side note, in the comics, in order for Thor to beat Gore, he needed multiple Thors. Like, it wasn't just him. He was not soloing him, bro. He needed help. So like, obviously there's gonna be variants of Thor. Jane's gonna be one of them. Which there's a scene of her getting the hammer. I don't know if y'all saw the hammer, but
her in the comic books is one of my favorite variants of Thor.
It's very good you brought that up, because I'm excited to see how they're going to do that. Because so when Jane became, Thor, in order, worthy enough to do it, she had cancer. Like, she was dying of cancer. And whenever she became Thor, when she went back to her, normal mode, it actually like made it more aggressive, and she had to like go on to, what's the thing? Why am I having a brain fart right now? What do you go on? People have cancer and they have to go for the
chemotherapy.
Yes, chemotherapy. Yes, that's what. So like, her doing that made her had to go on like chemo more, because it made her more aggressive. So like, essentially every time she became Thor, it was like killing her more.
It was a double-edged sword. It was
it was deep. It was deep. So yeah. I don't know if they're gonna go like that with this, but
it will be. Wait, every time she became Thor, she was killing Thor more.
She was killing herself.
Killing herself because she had cancer, and so when she became Thor, it made it more aggressive, and then that's what made her go on to chemotherapy and stuff. So like every time she did, it was basically like, I'm
gonna wait now, because if she died in the movie, I'm gonna cry, and I don't want to do that.
But the hammer, when she gets the hammer in her hand, man, I don't know if you guys saw, but that thing was broken and it was welded back together. So this is the hammer that Hela broke in Ragnarok. Yes, we don't know who put it back together, and we don't know how it got put back together, but we gonna see.
So wait, and maybe I'm just forgetting because it's been a while since I've watched Endgame. So did the Mjolnir that he stole from that one timeline, was it returned with the?
Yeah, that's why Thor took it back. Or that's why Cap took it back with him. Remember, Cap had it. He had the shield, and he had the briefcase, and he had the hammer, and he was like, all right, let me go. And he dipped and he went back. So he just put everything back in the timeline and stuff like that. So that's why it had to come back rebuilt. But you had, Thor working out. He was still fat in the trailer. He was out there working out, getting his workout in, working on his fitness. We had multiple costumes, lit costumes. It looks like he has an upgraded thing. He's even at the big tree, the tree that we were actually talking about in God of War. Thor is actually there. He plants his Stormbreaker into the ground, kind of thing, and like sits and like revelates. I think this is where he gets his power, because now he's actually able to like open a whole Bifrost with, like he planted Stormbreaker, and it actually like opened a whole Bifrost portal rather than him just porting himself. So he's gonna get some upgrades. Guardians of the Galaxies are still there, which I love. I'm going there for the comedic humor.
Yeah, it seems like they're not gonna be there for like more than like maybe like a fifth of the movie though.
I think they might be there more than people lead on to be. I think they're going to be there for probably like, I don't think they're going to be there for the end. Maybe not. Like, there's some lead into there, but like, I think, because what I think they did is, I think they did Guardians 3 and Thor: Love and Thunder. I think they like did those like side by side, kind of like how they did Infinity War and Endgame, because you can just like, go back and forth, because the timelines have to match up between, because they both left at the same time.
I don't think it was possible for them to shoot those movies at the same time, because I forget the director's name. James Gunn, he was doing the Suicide Squad at the time.
At the time of what?
At the time that they were making this Thor movie.
Yeah, but he just had to. All he had to do was, I wouldn't have to say like shoot at the same time, but as long as he's like in there, you know what I mean, giving his thing, because he controls one of the movies, you know what I mean. So yeah. Guardians has been, I'm pretty sure Guardians is done. I don't know if it's still in production, but from last time I checked, it was wrapping up production and everything. So it's been going on. Obviously, Thor was doing it before, but with the Guardians obviously being in Thor, James Gunn had to be a part of that. That's what they do. If their character,
yeah, they give that input to make sure that all those like plot threads and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. So there is that. That's what that was Thor trailer, and so now we can talk Moon Knight.
Don't forget the part when the Star-Lord looked in his eyes and said, "You know, when you look into the eyes of the people you love," and Thor is just waiting there like.
And he's like, "Oh, nothing." And that's just Thor being Thor, looking for that that verification, that validation that people love me, people still want me. You know what I mean? Like
he was like, "Not you."
And you also see upgraded Asgard too. Asgard is all upgraded. Looks like they have tours coming in there now. Valkyrie's all because she runs it now. She's looking all there disgusted because she's all suited and booted. How you doing?
Asgard.
Hey Zaddy, you know what I'm saying? She out there getting it done. I like it. I love to see it.
I'm excited for it. I'm here for all of it. And also there's that I forget the name of it, but there's that scene when it was Korg and Thor. They were standing on that rock, and that big monster was laying there dead. So that monster got killed by Gore. Gore soloed that monster. Like he's that strong, bro. So that's just like a note, like showing they're sticking true to the comics, because there's a scene literally in the comics where Thor's standing there, not with Korg, but he's standing there looking at it, and they're like, bro,
over the mountain.
Who did this?
That was pretty epic. That was almost like a 1-to-1 recreation of that comic panel in live action. I mean, obviously there's CGI there, but that was really dope.
So yes, but yes, now we can get to the Moon Knight. This show is so good. This show is so good.
Before we get into it, we're at episode 4. How many episodes in total do we have for this? Is it 10?
Hold on. Before we continue, spoiler alert, we're going to get into Moon Knight. We're going to talk spoilers. Lev, if you need to leave, anyone in the chat, please keep us up, mute us. But we are about to get into spoilers. We are going to talk about the episodes of Moon Knight starting now.
Oh.
All right. Where do we begin? Where
episode 1?
Oh, okay. So, Steven, I love it. I said it when episode 1 dropped. I think I messaged Greg, I messaged Nick, I messaged all of them. I was like, "Yo, listen, this is the best first episode of a Disney Plus series, of a Marvel series, simply for the fact that it introduced brand new characters that were never mentioned, all while having a lit plot." From the jump, like it starts, bro, and the villain Haro is breaking glass, putting it in his shoes, and he's going out there to do his duck thizzle, and you're just like, boom, you get thrown right into it. You're like, and that's literally how it starts. You're Steven, now you're in your thing, and you're just like, okay, what's going on? And it's literally like catching you up, all while introducing and giving you some backstory on everybody, which I feel like is hard to do, to be able to introduce characters all while having a story, because usually I've said it every first episode. We've been like, "Oh, it's the first episode. It'll get there." You know what I mean? It'll pick up. And series have been picking up episode 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Falcon was more like 3. WandaVision was 2. Okay. Loki was about 2. Loki episode 1 was good, but it was in the jump, because by the end of episode 1 in Moon Knight, bro, we're full-fledged in story. We're knee deep in it already.
Yeah, I do want to give a special shout out really quickly to both WandaVision and to Moon Knight, because I feel like out of all the Marvel series that have dropped on Disney Plus so far, those two have accomplished something where you don't have to have been tuned in to the entire Marvel universe, or cinematic universe rather, to be all in. You watch that first episode and
Black
you get
Panther.
that. Well, no,
we're talking about the series.
For the series, movies. Yeah. It's you
series.
Turn those on and you watch those for that first episode, and you're instantly intrigued. Obviously, me on a different level because I've seen those, but for people that haven't seen those, it's it gives you that eerie vibe up front of what the hell is going on here.
But
you have to keep watching.
You're so excited because you're like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, you're like, what? So we get a lot of backstory. So it starts off with Steven, which is very, very weird, because when you talk Moon Knight, the very first person that is in control is Mark. It's Mark Spector. That's who it is. There's actually 3, I guess you could say versions of him, alter egos, people in his heads. So there's Mark, Steven, and Jake. Okay. And normally it's Mark, and then, Mark turns into Steven, you know what I mean? So he can like, chill out and stuff like that. And then Jake gets introduced later. You start off as Steven, who's just this kind of like, I guess you could say nerdy, kind of weird cashier at a museum. And he loves he's all into the, ancient Egypt, like the Egyptian history and all that stuff like that. And like he's tied to his bed. He has like this sand thing around him because he doesn't, and you're going into it, you're just like, why is he doing all this? And it's because he blacks out and he wakes up in other places. And when he does that, he's switching over to Mark, which is dope. And I said this before, Oscar Isaac kills this role every episode. The switch and how quick he's able to switch between characters. Because Mark and Steven are two totally different characters. Mark is a regular, I guess you could say, English speaking man, and Steven is British, so he has to act that. So he has his accent, but like Oscar Isaac can just literally sit there and he's like, he's like, all right, Steven, take over, and he just like blinks and he's just like, all right, what are you gonna get to it? Like, bro, you're just like, wait, how, like you just did, like, dude, he just like astonishes me with that. But
you the same man, but a different beast.
Shout out to my boy James McAvoy while we're talking about split personalities out here. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Yeah, went crazy.
So first episode. So then you get in there and you wake up as Mark, and you wake up on this, I guess you could say, different part of the world, and there's a big castle. Now that castle looks oddly familiar to another castle that is this dog owns in this little area called Latveria. Okay, I ain't gonna say that that's Doom's castle, but
yeah, hold on. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna say anything about the boxes in the back of the truck, neither. You know what I'm saying? we ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, say anything with the. You know what I'm saying? So
another hint, bro. Doom is lurking.
Lurking. I mean, we're still trying to wait to figure out who the astrophysicist that was mentioned in what was that? WandaVision.
Yeah.
So they're hinting towards it.
Yes.
Like we are getting closer and closer because this is still phase 4 from what I understand. We're getting closer and closer to the end of it.
Yes.
Oh, look at Jordan getting excited. Oh my god.
I'm going crazy over here right now.
Because I'm telling you, like when Doom gets introduced,
it's over. Really I'm the happiest man on earth.
Shout out to Twilight Deacon. Thank you so much for the sub with your Prime account. We appreciate that, man. But when Doom comes in,
okay.
Oh, when Doom comes in, like,
don't let my man level up. Don't let him throw that God before his name. Don't let him do it.
So the thing that you got to understand, especially like if you're not like I'm big on Marvel. Ham is
Marvel
catastrophically large on Marvel. But the thing is, like the reaction that you get from watching the first Avengers movie and then you see Thanos for the first time. And it's like, oh my God, if you know who it is. I was like the only person when that movie premiered that freaked out because I knew who he was. But Dr. Doom, when it's revealed, deserves the same, if not a larger reaction.
I'm telling you right now, if he pops up in a movie, I'm going to scream. Everybody's going to be mad at me.
I'm not screaming. I am saying one thing and one thing only.
What? Daddy?
Not even that. I'm just going to walk out and say, pressure is now being applied.
Bro, pressure is applied.
Pressure is now being applied. Because y'all don't understand. So you understand. So check this. We have Kane, Playboy. You feel what I'm saying? And then we have God Emperor Doom, my guy. Ham, what does that lead to? Because those are two powerhouses those are universal people that come through and say, I'm here.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
Speaking of superheroes, the next big superhero always has to be a level up, correct? Like it's never like a downgrade.
You know what I'm saying? Someone that devours.
Right. We got Freezer, then we got Cell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So after all of that dies down, I think a little Silver Surfer gonna come pull up and be like, hey, y'all.
I know y'all are I know y'all are worried about a few things, but
He's coming.
There's a big bad guy coming, and we need everyone on board.
Just look in the sky. You'll see him. He's pulling up
So-
past Mars right now, bro.
This is what I'm calling, because we already got. I know we got the Marvels coming out, which is hopefully going to be super awesome. But we've already got, like, I want to say it was like a leak last year that heavily implied that we'll have some type of Rogue versus Captain Marvel action. Which is definitely within the mythos of our character and great X-Men Rogue.
I want her to be humbled, bro, by
yes.
Rogue. I want her to be
Yes.
humbled by Rogue and just dog walk her
and I think that's but anyway,
Imagine her getting dog walking saying, "Daddy."
bruh, it's gonna be bad for her. But see, this is my thing though. Like, anyone that knows anything has to make the assumption that we're gonna move towards, because they said that we're not gonna get like another like Avengers movie. They said they're done with the Avengers. So it looks like in some ways they're probably starting to lean more into maybe like the Ultimates being like the next team up. I would imagine we're probably going to move into like the Ultimates version of Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah.
As they are sorting out Doom and whatever Kang has going on, which is going to lead into we got to team up because Galactus. And everything is just leading. It's a funnel right into it.
It's
Give me. Just y'all have no idea. I tell this to him every time there's a possibility. Can I please get God Emperor Doom?
Because y'all come. So listen. Okay, so I already told you the plan for that, bro. Listen, this is my Marvel plan for them. Listen, Doom's gonna come. All right, he's gonna get defeated like he usually does, and he's gonna chill. But while he's chilling, they gonna be like, "Yo, we need your help." As usually it happens because he's so smart. Yes, Reed is up there, but don't sleep on Victor Von Doom. My man is a G, and he is a genius too. So boom, they need his help. He gonna do his things, bro. And he powers up because he's gonna power up, become God Doom, and in order for them to defeat him, they ain't gonna be able to defeat him. They gonna need him to defeat Galactus. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They gonna need him at God Emperor Doom to do it because at the end of the day, like, yes, Doom is a villain, but when it comes down to the Earth, he got to take care of his people at Varia. Now he's for his people. If that's anything, he's for his people. Mm-hmm. And if that's in danger, he's gonna be like, all right, what's up? What y'all need from me? Like, you know what I mean?
Because
like,
I am a. What does my man say? I am a gracious God.
No.
That man Doom don't play around.
Y'all don't understand. I've read so much on him.
And they're putting so much in place because like there are a lot of continuities where we see that Doom like bosses up because of the Infinity Stones, but there are also a fair amount of continuities where he's like, whatever. And we've already seen in Loki that I mean, at a particular level, they're using Infinity Stones for paperweights.
Yeah,
like there's a drawer of like 20.
I admire more power. Like he just pull up like, bro, I ain't worried about y'all. I'm on another level. Get out of here.
Thank you so much for that lurk, by the way, Ziana. You stay real out here. All right.
But yeah, so first episode starts going. You meet in, Arthur Harrow. He meets up with Mark. You finally, what's up?
Before we go any further, while we have a large audience, I'm going to put you on a quick pause here. Greg's going to make an announcement. Why is Greg speaking in third party? Because I'm going to speak for the entire team when I say this. Today is the 10th episode of the Blerd Lines podcast. How many episodes, Perry?
10.
Lady Gunner, how many episodes?
10.
Carlton, how many episodes?
10.
So, to celebrate our 10th episode of the Blerd Lines podcast, we are getting ready to initiate the May gift card giveaway. We have over $100 in gift cards that we are getting ready to give to you guys. Over $100 in gift cards. Stay tuned, because the way this is going to work is, and you'll get a detailed video that our wonderful moderator Slub Love is working on. But in short, you don't want to miss next week's episode because we're going to drop a password for you. That password will be dropped live on Blerd Lines Podcast episode 11 next weekend. You are to take that episode, you are to follow us and subscribe on our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram, and you want to comment that password to us. and in commenting that password along with a X for Xbox, a P for PlayStation, or a S for Nintendo Switch, you are entering in with that password and that corresponding letter to let us know that you are watching the shows, you are a member of our wonderful community, and that you want that delicious, succulent, free Switch
Mike
gift.
Hennessy, thank you for the gifted sub.
Do appreciate that. So definitely stay tuned because, like I said, with over $100 in gift cards being given away,
That's
we
a
will be
game.
giving away cards every weekend for the month of May. So make sure that you take advantage of this opportunity to get some free stuff because games are expensive. So it would be a wonderful opportunity for you to be able to go ahead and cop a game with a nice little bit of that price shaved off the top. So definitely check out our platforms. I'm gonna go ahead and drop those links into the chat. Just so that way, if you want to get ahead of the curve, so that way you can go ahead and subscribe now, so you're ready to just start spamming us with those comments of that password. That password can be anything, so you got to make sure you watch live, because I might be like, hey, the password is purple and pink panties with polka dots. That's not really the password. But you never know
Hey.
what that password is going to be. But you want to make sure that you are there for it, so that way you can take advantage of it. So definitely go ahead and follow us on YouTube, Slub Love. If you're there, please drop the link for the Twitter account so that we can get that in there as well. And then there's also the Instagram at Blerd Lines Podcast, which I'm hoping she can get dropped in there as well for us. And we hope that we are giving you some free gaming money in the weeks to come. Jordan, back to you as we start to lead into the end of episode 1 and into episode 2, please.
Yes, sir. So yeah, so they met up. Harl, the villain of the sword right now, meets up with Mark. He realizes he has a scarab, which Steven is still kind of like confused because he doesn't really know yet. He doesn't understand. He keeps having these blackouts, and now he's like, "Oh, I'm stuck over here," and he's confused. Harl's like, "Give it to me." He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and I love it. Literally, like, blacks out. He wakes up, bodies on the floor, blood on his hands, and he's just like, what's going on? What's happening? And he's all running away, and basically, makes it back home, and he's kind of still tripping. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't know what just happened. All of a sudden, Haro pulls up to him. In his bro, he's just like, yeah, and he goes and tells security, help me, but they're all members and they follow this cult that Haro is leading. And basically Haro is like, I'm here giving the powers of the goddess Amit, and basically Amit would wait. She would judge you by the weight of a feather of trust, basically, and they would see how pure your heart is. And he puts this little scale on your wrist, and if you pass, you're good, you're able to go. But if you're not, you'll literally die right there. Boom, he did it. He killed somebody right there in front of him. And he was like, what's going on? Like, we got bodies falling. So there's a whole cult. Security guards are in on it at the museum. Leads into a big chase. Steven's running away. There's this jackal like dog, you know what I mean? Hyena-esque like thing that's chasing him throughout the museum. He's all scared. And then obviously the episode's getting ready to end. And what does he do? He runs into the bathroom, and Mark, he looks in the mirror, and Mark is now talking to him from the mirror, and he's like, just let me take control. Like, I promise we're gonna be okay. And Steven's like, no, like, like, no. He's like, dude, just let me do it. He was just like, fine. And as soon as Mark took control, you see the little hyena like run into the like dive at him into the bathroom, and the camera pans out, and you just hear like, and you see the hyena like try to run out, bro. No, hyena gets pulled back in, and then the camera's like walking into the bathroom, and as soon as it gets in the bathroom, you just see Moon Knight over that thing, just and just kills it, and then he turns around and walks. So he's finally suited and booted. Boom, episode 1 is done. That's like you're literally in the middle of shit now, which leads into episode 2, where. Okay, so now Steven and Mark kind of understand, where they're going at with everything. He kind of understands it. And is it episode 1 is when he picks up the phone call? No, that was episode 2. Because that's where he meets Layla. No, it's episode 3 is when he meets Layla. Yeah, it's okay. So I'm trying to remember because it's been like, what, 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now? Okay, so episode 2 is where, what is that one?
That was a good call, by the way, Perry.
What is that one? I'm having a brain fart. Hold on. Because I know episode 3 is when he goes to Egypt at the end of it. Because that's when they then transfers from Egypt. Oh yeah, episode 2 is when you start learning more about Haro, and Haro actually was the avatar of Khonshu, which actually controls what's it called right now? Which actually controls Mark. That's how he's able to get his suit and everything like that. Haro was actually the original avatar, but then left him, which is kind of weird to come at it because you're trying to figure out where he's going from, and now you find out that Haro's bouncing from god to god, basically, right?
My fault.
Oh yeah, so yeah, episode 2, boom, he meets Layla, who Layla is actually Mark's wife, and Layla knew nothing about Steven. And then you come to find out that basically Mark is trying to get away from his wife because Khonshu told him, yo, I like your wife. So I'm just letting you know right now, when our time is done, that's mine. I'm taking that. And Mark don't
Yes,
want that.
crazy.
Yeah, Mark is like, yo, I don't want any part of that. So he left Layla. But he answered the phone, come to find out Steven and Layla meet up, and basically she's like, who are you? And he's just like, I'm Steven. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know who Mark is. I have no idea of it. And Okay, yeah. So then, boom, they figure out, they're like, okay, we need to go find this tomb. Because that's where, so basically, Amit had got banished, right? But she didn't get banished into like this, and like a proper banishment where they did it. They banished her into another tomb. So her actual like little like statue that she's banished into is in a tomb, and nobody can find that tomb because it's been lost for years. Basically, Layla's like, hey, yo, I know this dude. Like, we can go pull up on him. I think he got the tomb. So he's like, cool. They go over there and pull up on him. Dude is working with Haro. And he's like, dang. But then we get another epic fight scene. I think this is the actual fight scene where like you see Moon Knight like get down and dirty with a couple people. You feel me? And then we get the reveal of Mr. Knight, which is his second suit. That's who Steven becomes, because there's a big fight with another thing, and Steven's like, I kind of don't want to fight him, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do it. But then he gets into Mr. Knight looking drippy. I'm just gonna say that white suit with the little white mask and the little moon on it. Yeah. It is drippy.
He got a little drippy swag going.
Drippy. Yeah. But it's funny because Steven doesn't fight, but he's like, I gotta save something. So he's like, come on, put him up, and he throws a punch. Yeah, but then he starts getting dog walk. So then obviously Mark takes control, goes into his actual, like Moon Knight little suit. And bro, this thing, he's chasing him, bro. And then Moon Knight jumps off the building. The dog jumps at him, and he just like hits him and grabs him and just like stabs his body down through a fork, and then catches his little moon that he has on his chest, his little moon blade. Boom, and it's like an epic little scene, you know what I mean? Moon, it's all dark, you see the clouds.
What it is, it's a batarang.
Bro. It's not, bro, because it doesn't come back.
Sometimes batarangs come back.
Most of his batarangs come back.
That's why they're called batarangs. They're boomerangs.
But yeah, so that ends into that, which leads them following into that guy, and you get another, which these fight scenes are amazing because there's one where he's fighting like these 6 dudes in episode 3, bro. Like he's literally like he jumps over a dude and then throws his moonerings. That's what I'm gonna call them. That's what I'm calling because they're moons. He throws his moon.
He just really had to put a dad joke in there. He really had to do that.
And you get some really intense, fight scenes and shit. But going into episode 3, it comes down to it, and Khonshu's like, yo, like I've been banished, like I'm on kind of like my last limb right now. They said I got one more time to mess up, but like this is what we got to do. I'm gonna call a meeting. Like, let's go. So he calls a meeting, and all the gods come. And basically, he's trying to plead his case to Haro. He's like, yo, Haro is, he's tripping, bro. Like, he's out here trying to bring the god Amit here and basically, like, destroy the world. And they're like, all right, Haro, pop up. So Haro pops up in the little meeting. And he's like, yo, so what have you been doing? He's like, I ain't been doing nothing. He played the role cool. He's like, I left Khonshu for a reason, man. That man's crazy. Like, he don't even let, Mark control himself. He controls Mark, trying to reverse the role on him. He's like, I'm nothing but, I'm a simple man. I ain't doing nothing. And there's no evidence, so they're just like, yeah, we got no evidence, so he gets to walk. And then they were like, yo, Khonshu, get out of here. And they were like, hey, Steven, hey, or Mark, talk to me. They're like, are you in control? Like, are you able to control your body? And he's like, look, I ain't here for that, bro. Like, this man is bad. Like, what he's saying is true. Like, it's gonna happen. They're like, yeah, but we ain't gonna do anything about it. So, like, kick rocks, homie. So then they leave, and basically Haro is just kind of like, you fucked up. you did this too early. You know what I mean? Like you ain't gonna do nothing, and now I'm really gonna destroy everything. He's like, I'm gonna get control of this. I'm gonna find a mitt. I'm gonna get these powers, and you can't do nothing about it because now you really can't do anything because they gonna banish you. And he walks away. So then they're like, bro, we got to figure out where this is at. Like, do you remember where the tomb was? And Khonshu was like, I was there during that day. Like, I can tell you where the stars aligned. And he's like, but if I do this, like, they taking me, y'all. Like, it. So what he does, like, and it was a dope scene. Like, he literally like spins the sky and spins the stars back to that date when the last known location of the tomb was with the Mit's little banishment thing. And the sky is just spinning, you know, all the stars are spinning and stuff like that. And when it happens, he gets to the date, all the gods are like, yo, we told Khonshu you can't be doing this stuff, bro. Like you just showing everybody that like we got powers and stuff like that. You showing that there's, you know,
we out here.
So
we out here.
Hey, my guy, you got to get banished. So boom, and episode 3, Khonshu gets banished. So now Mark and Steven do not have Khonshu. So they do not have the Moon Knight suit and anything. They are human.
Jordan Pauls. We got a lot of new faces in the chat right now.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Authentic Z, Nero Wolf, and I Am Jews. That's the homies. Thank y'all for pulling up. Yes. Gang. I love y'all. Thank y'all for the support.
Absolutely. Now, keep in mind, Lady Gunner is, as you see at the bottom left, she is one of the hosts on this show, Blerd Lines Podcast. If you love your girl, Lady Gunner, make sure you give us a follow. Give us a gift sub as well. And make sure you tune in next week because we are giving away over $100 in gift cards throughout the month of May. So definitely tap in, lock in, and be ready for that. And Jordan, please continue on as we start to lead into episode 4 here.
Breed in. That's funny.
So
not
then,
breed in. Hello?
Episode 4 kicks in. And they're kind of like, we got to figure this out. Like, we got to find this tomb because if we can get to it before Haro can, like, we can stop him. He can't do anything. So, you know, using Steven's, because Steven's actually like this, like he knows what he's talking about. He does this. He studied it. He works for it. Like, this is what he does. So Mark, at the end of the day, is like, all right, Steven, like, take control. And it's kind of cool because you see Steven kind of start, you know, getting up on Layla, and they have a little moment, you know what I'm saying, where they kiss and stuff. Right. And Mark pressing like, hey, what you kissing my girl for, bro? Like, what you doing? And
that boy Steven said, hey, this is our girl.
I just wanna know, is it Steven's body or is it Mark's body? Like,
so it's Mark's body. Because so basically what happened was Mark, you know, he was a mercenary and he basically was wounded and was about to die. And when he was dying, Khonshu therefore took his body as the avatar because he was no longer going to be able to use it because he was going to die. So, and then he just created that other, you know, alter ego started creating after that because he wanted to get away from Layla and, you know, save her at the end of the day. And so they get to the tomb and he's like, it's in here. So he like busts through the Alexander the Great's, like, you know, decomposed body. He like shoves his hand down his throat and pulls it out, and he's like, I got it. Bro, Haro pulls up like, thank you, like, I'm so thankful that you got it for me, bro. And they shoot him, bro. So Steven gets shot, and it's like shocking because he doesn't have the armor, so he has no healing abilities, no regeneration. Like, he's shot, and boom, he falls out and he wakes up.
Big shot. He shoots him like 3 times.
Yeah, bro. He wakes up in a mental hospital. But so I'm taking it as it's actually his mind because as he's going through it, you know what I mean? He's seeing stuff and he goes into a room and he hears a sarcophagus get shaking. And he's like, let me out. And so he opens it and it's Mark. But Mark's in a body and Steven's in a body. And they're like, oh, I'm so happy. And I love it because when this episode was going on, I told me and one of my good friends, LA, he's big on Marvel and everything too. We were talking about it, and I told him, I was like, it's funny because so Steven doesn't know about Mark, but Mark knows about Steven. And I was like, and they both don't know about Jake. And I was like, watch Jake pull up, right? He's just going to pull up and be like, yo, whatever. And they both can be like, who's this guy? Like, do you know him? Like, I don't know. I didn't know. Do you know him? Like that? And
you don't even go here.
And so before I get into that, there was a scene when he was in Moon Knight where they were both blacking out. So Steven was blacking out and Mark was popping up and he was like, what? And there was bodies and he's like, why'd you do this? And Steven told him like, bro, I ain't the one with the body count, my guy. You the one with the body count.
There's 3 people in there? I got to watch this.
So it's crazy. Added because like they're both sitting there and they're like, you just killed 8 dudes, bro. He's like, I didn't do that. I'm not a killer. You are. He's like, but I'm telling you, I didn't kill him. I own my bodies. So like, there's that looming one, which leads into the 4th episode. So they, they get them 2 together. They're running through the doors. They open another door, and you just hear screaming in another sarcophagus, and it's just shaking. And they both just kind of look at each other, but they're like, nah, bro, we got to get out of here. Like, we got to, we got to dip. We can't be up in this. So they leave, which that's Jake, y'all. I'm telling y'all, that's Jake. All right. So Jake is just shaking in there.
I was like, I want a Moon Knight power, but I didn't change my mind. That's 3 people. It's 2 people in me.
This is one thing that's really, really a really good detail. Everybody, I've been harping at. Okay. Now that, because Greg's seen it, so now that Khonshu is banished and Mark and Steven don't have his powers, correct? Khonshu cannot give him their powers at all. He cannot do anything with them, correct?
Right, does Greg? Jake still have his powers?
No. I'm not right, Greg. You've seen the episodes, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So Amit is banished like Khonshu because she's in the same little seal thing that they banished him in, correct? So if she's banished, how is she giving Harrow powers?
I guess I didn't really think about that.
I said it, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, you brought it up again." I was like, "What if it's Mephisto acting as a god?" All right, and people are like, "Oh no."
There's a twerk session going on in the chat. I just wanted to let y'all know it's getting real over here.
So,
nah, you still
and by Khonshu being banished proves to me that like Amit can't just be shelling out powers like that. And then they were like, well, it's a different banishment. Yeah, she was banished by the gods and her avatar, bro. Her avatar was like, I don't want nothing to do with you. And they all banished her together. They was like, yo, get out of here. That's why she was shoved down in a body in a tomb, not in the god thing in the dorm where Khonshu is with everybody else. So, like, I think, like, it's somebody else. Like, I don't think Harrow's getting his powers from Amit. I think he's getting his powers from somebody else. And there has been rumors, like, even in the Doctor Strange trailer, if you watch when it first pulls up, there's a little smiling face underneath the actual Marvel Studios thing. And people are like, oh, that's Chithnon, who's Chaos Magic, or Mephisto. And I'm like, bruh, like, Nightmare's going to be confirmed for Doctor Strange, okay? Chaos Magic is looming. Chaos Magic is looming through Moon Knight. In the comics, Moon Knight fights Mephisto, and in order to beat Mephisto, he gets this amulet that he's able to steal powers from superheroes in order to beat Mephisto.
Oh,
so like, what if at the end of the series he gets the amulet and he's like, oh, Mephisto's looming, let me go, and he figures out he can take people's powers, so he's just looming around for the movies, just taking people's powers. At the end of the movie, he's gonna go fight Mephisto. You know what I mean? Like, obviously that'd be ridiculous, but like, that's one of his main stories. One of his big stories is him, fighting Mephisto, a big bad guy who's been hinted at since WandaVision. So it's going to be crazy. And I like it because with all these villains, like there's going to be multiple villains looming around. Yeah, like you said, we got Kang already, right? Mm-hmm. Fantastic Four is confirmed for the last movie in Phase 4. So Doom is going to be here by the end of Phase 4.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have either Chithnon, Mephisto, or Nightmare, which I don't think they're going to make Nightmare a really big bag, but you got Mephisto basically looming around now for series on Disney Plus, and that's 3 big bads to hold us off until Galactus.
Oh yeah, definitely. I do agree. I don't think they're gonna make Nightmare like a grand villain. He's absolutely positively capable of it, but I think he's a little too the shadow under your bed to be a mainstream MCU.
Yeah, like he could be like exactly. He's like a
they're
movie.
They're going to give him one movie. It's probably going to be Multiverse of Madness. And we'll probably hear from him maybe another time or two through the avenue of Doctor Strange in the world of magic on the Marvel side. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's going to be a major player in the.
I think he'll be behind a lot of it in probably Doctor Strange. But that like Nightmare leads to Mephisto. Like it all circles back around to Mephisto or Chithnon, which I think they might do it, but I don't think they would. With knowing Marvel, they might do it because Chithnon isn't as known as Mephisto, but he's still a dog. Like he is Chaos Magic, which Chaos Magic
is.
Absolutely. What's with the dance,
man? It's getting crazy in the chat, man. It's getting crazy in the chat. So more or less, like when we're talking about the Marvel Moon Knight show, Disney Plus series. You guys have been abridged. you are more or less up to date. There are nooks and crannies and theories and and conspiracies that we could get into days based on everything that is chalked into these first 4 episodes. This first roughly 3 hours and 15 minutes worth of Moon Knight goodness.
Oh, yes.
But we're not going to do that today. We're going to reserve that for a special episode of the Captain's Lounge. We'll probably do that because I think I want to be a part of that. After we get the final episodes and after we get Doctor Strange, I think we should have like a huge Marvel blowout.
Yes, and for anybody that hasn't seen any of the Marvel movies, because I'm thinking about hosting a marathon, probably in a Discord. The first 4 are going to be Captain America, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, and Iron Man 2.
So are you going to do it in chronological order?
Yes,
opposed to the order they were released.
All right, so you got to watch
chronological order, so we can get the little. Yeah, Incredible Thor, Incredible Hulk, Avengers, Iron Man. I got the chart, so we can get the little bitty nooks and crannies and the little secret messages in order.
Yeah, because I think really outside of like Captain America and Captain Marvel, most of the movies are more or less already in chronological order, right?
Yeah, I think after
it gets a little tricky in Phase 3 because that's when you start adding all the other solo movies.
Yeah, you got Doctor Strange, Captain America,
Black Panther, Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, like
Civil War. Yeah. Spider-Man 2, 3, Civil War, Spider-Man, Black Panther, then Cowboy Bebop, then Batman, then Spider-Man. So like at the
I like that you just do Cowboy Bebop in there.
They put it in there, but
them
phases when they start going kind of crazy in there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like to watch stuff in chronicle order.
Yeah.
So then we can all get the message together in order. So you don't be watching Iron Man then Hulk and then be like, oh my god, I saw a secret message from Iron Man 1. Yep. We can just
that's how you catch it all.